Hi, Luke from Korg here. Today I'm at Music Matter and we're looking at the Wavestate. This is our new reimagining, I should say, of the Wavestation from 1990. So it still retains elements of that. So we've got the wave sequencing, we've got the vector joystick, but we've brought it much more hands-on, smaller footprint, so it's more kind of desktop friendly, but of course you can trigger it via MIDI from any keyboard. Let's have a listen. So as you can hear, loads going on there, incredibly complex pattern. That's because we've got 4 of these layers which we can stack up on top of each other. And those layers can be wave sequences, so kind of complex moving stuff, or just regular sounds. So you've got the choice there to dive in and do what you want with both of those. I'll just explain the concept of wave sequencing a little bit more to you by using a more simple pattern. So you've got something like this. So you can hear that nice moving melodic pattern. What we've done with the Wavestate is we've actually extrapolated a lot of the information out. So you can see all the different lanes now. So you've got master, timing, sample, pitch, shape, gate, and step sequence lanes, which you can see on the screen as well. And you can also follow on these buttons here as well. If I press wave sequence steps and then pitch, we can follow what's going on. So you can see this one. 9 steps long, and then it goes back on itself, and that's using this loop mode here. So for instance, if I press step number 2 there, I can see that that particular step is transposed because we're in the pitch lane by 2 semitones. So I can pitch it up to make it more minor feel or major feel. So I'm going to leave it on the minor. And because we've got the different layers and zones for those layers, we can have different sounds at the top. So you get some really nice atmospheric stuff going on. So as well as using these buttons here for the wave sequence steps, I can also use them as a set list, which is super useful, because I can save all of my favourite sounds in here. I've got 16 I can save, and also 4 banks of those, so 64 actually in total. So I'm just going to select number 3 there, and I'm going to use this sound here to show you these modulation knobs. So this is something we've added from the original Wavestation, and it allows me to tweak out the sound even more in real time. So I can take a sound which already has some motion in it, like this one, and I can start using these knobs to shape the music even more. I've got a shape control, which gives me like a kind of reversed thing, or the gate, for example, which works like an arpeggiator gate, where I can clip it really short, or elongate the notes. What was great about the original Wavestation were the pads, and all Korg synths of course have been famous for that, but in particular the Wavestation was great because you could use the wave sequencing in a different way. Rather than that short steppy glitchy way, you could elongate the pattern, make it really slow, and just kind of sweep between different samples and fade them in and out. So if you just hold it, you can hear the different sounds phasing in and out, like that. So as well as being able to manipulate our sounds from these modulation knobs, we've also got a modulation wheel, of course, and that really can add a lot to the sound. So for instance, in this particular one, I can really modulate the sound depending on what's assigned to it. warp your music into a completely different direction, using that to kind of create different soundscapes, which I really love. You've got regular synth sounds in here as well, like this synced sound. And we've got perfect patch remain as well, which means we can change sounds. Just makes everything really smooth. And with the different layers, I can add in something else, like maybe a drum pattern running on one of the layers. So these layers can be anything. They can be either a wave sequence or a regular sound, a regular multi-sampled sound. So you could have 4 wave sequences layered, or 4 regular sounds, or a kind of mixture of the two, and they can also be zoned as well. And you've also got this vector joystick, which is great. So this was on the original Wavestation, and you can use it to blend between the different layers, A, B, C, and D. So if we take a sound like this, this is what it's like with all layers sounding. But then I can use the joystick there to really hone in on individual layers. But then of course if you bring it into the middle, it brings in all the layers together. And it also makes a great MIDI controller as well, because this will transmit MIDI CC messages to your software if you want to work that way. What I love about the Wavestate is the fact you can take a kind of regular sound like this Celeste sound and then quickly warp it into a more of a synth sound by using the modulation wheel here. So we can take a sound like this. Sustain it and kind of morph it into more of a synth sound. Bring it back home just by bringing the mod wheel back down. So yeah, just really great way to manipulate your sounds. And of course you could do that with the vector joystick as well by feeling your way through the sounds, which is really nice. Great brass sounds in here as well. This is a sound which is combined kind of brass and strings and nice pad kind of sounds. Get that lovely thing where you hold down a chord and it will just slowly develop over time as well to bring in things like that choir. Great choir sounds inside as well. With some nice underlying motion in it. And you've got an arpeggiator, so you can add some further motion to the sound. Hold down shift on arpeggiator and it will show you the pattern, what the resolution is. You can also swing it, gate time, and so on. Every sound in the layers has its own synth path as well. So you've got filters, some of them are modelling our classic synths like the Poly 6, MS-20, and the Wavestate also has its own filters. You have an envelope as well, different types of envelopes, LFOs, and of course some great effects as well. So you can really get in there and start sculpting your sound just as you would do with a regular analog model synth as well. And it's got this cool feature of a randomize feature, which is the picture of a dice there on the panel. So you can just press that at any time and it will completely randomize the whole thing, and you can use that for sound experimentation. So that's really cool. So that's the Wavestate, incredibly powerful synth. We're very proud of it. Hope you've enjoyed listening to it. If you want to see any more details about it, spin over to the Music Matter website. All the details are on there, and I'll see you next time.